Welcome to the zoology class. It is fourth lesson in zoology, principles of inheritance and variation. So in this lesson we are going to study about human karyotyping and some of the disorders and some of the genetical disorders, diseases. First, this is human karyotyping. So this picture is a human karyotyping. You can see there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. 23 pairs of chromosomes, they are arranged in an orderly manner based on their size. You can see in this group, in the A group, you can see these chromosomes are little lengthy chromosomes. So large sized chromosomes are placed in the A group, and it is decreasing in size when you are going down. So now here, this and all in the group G and all, the chromosomes will be smaller. Okay, this is human karyotyping. Okay, so human karyotyping means it is a technique by which a complete set of chromosome is separated from a cell, separated from a nucleus, and are arranged in pairs. So this is karyogram. Otherwise, you can say ideogram. Okay, ideogram means that is the diagrammatic representation of chromosomes. Diagrammatic representation of the chromosomes. So how this karyotyping can be prepared? How can get ready with this karyotyping? So what are the procedures? First, you have to culture the cells. So for example, we are culturing lymphocytes of the bloods. We are culturing these blood cells, and we have to induce mitosis. So as a result, the cells will be keep on dividing. So when the cells are in dividing stage, in order to stop the cell division, we are adding a chemical colchicine. Colchicine is added. This will arrest the cell division. When the cells are in dividing mode, this chemical is added. Colchicine is added. As soon as it is added, the cell division will be stopped at the metaphase stage. And after that, the chromosomes will be separated from the cells, and it will be spread, and they will be arranged, and photographs will be taken, and each chromosomes, the photographs will be cut from the photograph, and they are arranged in a orderly manner, okay, in homologous pairs. Okay, that is this karyogram. The procedure is nothing but we have to culture the cells, and then we have to separate the chromosomes from the cell, and we have to arrange the cells, and then we have to take photographs, and then these photographs will be cut based on the structure, and then that will be arranged, and all the chromosomes are arranged in a properly manner based on the size and based on their pair. So that diagram is a karyogram. You can otherwise say ideogram. Otherwise, you can say human karyotyping. So, okay, this picture is a human karyotyping. What are the advantages? What are the applications of karyotyping? Why we have to do this procedure? Okay, what are the applications? First one, it will help in gender identification. We can identify the person, whether the person is male or female. Okay, from this karyogram, by observing this karyogram, you can easily identify the sex of the individuals. Okay, before birth, the child may, whether it is a male child or a female child, that can be identified by this karyotyping. Okay, so from this picture, what you are concluding, whether it is a male or female. Okay, you can see the last pair of chromosome, it is XY. That is the sex chromosome. If the sex chromosome is XY, then the individual will be male. Then this is the karyotyping of the male individual. So first point, this will help in the gender identification. This will help in the sex of the individual. Second point, to detect the chromosomal aberrations. What are the chromosomal aberrations? Some of the changes in the chromosomal, that is deletion, duplication, translocation, non-disjunctions. So these are some of the chromosomal aberrations that we can detect by observing the karyotyping. We can understand, is there any chromosomal aberrations for that individual. And then chromosomal abnormalities like aneuploidies, chromosomal abnormalities. For example, so these are the karyotyping of one individual. So this is the 21 pair. This is the 21 pair. So in some cases, in the 21st chromosomes will be in triploid conditions. So here only 2 chromosomes are there. And the addition of one chromosome in 21st chromosome, one addition, that is trisomy. If it is trisomy, that is Down syndrome. So that is the example for aneuploidy. Okay, if there is any aneuploidy, we can find out earlier. Okay, before the birth, we can find out the person is male or female, or whether the child is normal. Is there any chromosomal abnormalities? Is there any chromosomal aberrations? So all these things we can know already. So before birth itself, we can understand. Okay, and one more function, one more application of this karyotyping is, it is used to predict the evolutionary relationship between the species. Okay, by observing the karyotyping of human, and also by seeing the karyotyping of other primates, monkeys, and other mammals. So we can find out the evolutionary relationship. By observing the karyotyping of different animals, we can study the evolutionary relationship between the species. For that also it is used. And next, genetical diseases that can be also detected. Genetical diseases. Okay, if there is any genetical diseases, because these genetical diseases will be transmitted to the next generation. So in Western countries and all, before marriage, they are verifying this karyotyping. By observing this karyotyping, we can find out, is there any genetical diseases. If there is any genetical diseases, that will be transmitted to the next generation. It will affect the child. So that only in other countries, they are observing this karyotyping before marriage. Okay, if the karyotyping is normal, then only they are allowed to marriage. Okay, now, based on the position of the centromeres, the chromosomes are classified. Okay, based on the, most probably, the centromeres will be found at the center. So at the center of the chromosomes. So based on that, the length will be vary. The arm length will be vary. So based on the position of the centromere, chromosomes are classified as metacentric, submetacentric, and acrocentric. Okay. Okay. Now, after that, in karyotyping, pedigree analysis. What is pedigree analysis? This is also very, very important. Okay, before marriage, not only they are observing the karyotyping, and also this pedigree analysis. This is the family tree. This is the family tree drawn with standard genetical symbols. Okay, by observing this pedigree, this will show the inheritance pathway of specific phenotypic characters. Okay, so this will show not only your genetic makeup, this will show the grandparents, your parents. So all their genetical characters will be shown in pedigree analysis. Okay, so not only they are observing the karyotyping, but also they are analyzing the pedigree. Pedigree means it is the family tree. It is the family tree that will shows the inheritance pathway of some of the genetic characters. Okay, if sometime if your grandfather may have some genetic diseases, that may be transmitted to the grandson. Okay, by analyzing these things, they are get ready for the marriage or not. Okay, so pedigree analysis is also very, very important. And the next, genetic disorders. What are the Mendelian disorders? Is there is any change in the single gene that will cause Mendelian disorders? If there is a small change, if there is any mutation in the gene, that will cause disorders. These disorders are transmitted to the offsprings based on the line of Mendelian pattern. Some examples of some Mendelian disorders are thalassemia, albinism, phenylketonuria, sickle cell anemia, Huntington chorea. Okay, so these are the diseases, Mendelian disorders, which are transmitted to the next generations. These disorders may be dominant or recessive, or it may be autosomes. It may be caused by autosomes, or it may be caused by sex chromosomes. Okay, Mendelian disorders may be caused by a dominant gene, or it may be caused by the recessive gene, or it may be caused by the autosomal, or it may be caused by the sex chromosomes. Okay, so there are different diseases are there: thalassemia, albinism, phenylketonuria, sickle cell anemia, Huntington chorea. So first, thalassemia. In this disease, there is excessive destruction of RBCs. The RBCs are destroyed due to the excessive growth of hemoglobin. Okay, excessive destruction of RBCs. Why RBCs are destroyed? The reason is that the hemoglobins are produced abnormally. Abnormal hemoglobin is produced. So what is the normal hemoglobin? In the normal hemoglobin, there will be only 4 polypeptides. Normal hemoglobin is made up of only 4 polypeptides, 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. If there is any defect, in either of the alpha or beta globulin, if there is any defect in this alpha or beta globulin, this will result anemia. This will result the destruction of RBCs. If abnormal hemoglobin is produced, this will destruct the RBC. Destruction of RBC. If abnormal hemoglobin is produced, that will destruct the RBC. So that is anemia. If RBC is destroyed, the number of RBC will be decreased. That condition is anemia. So what is the gene? There are 2 types of anemia. So that is alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia. In alpha thalassemia, the mutation or deletion of one or more 4 alpha gene allele. Alpha gene allele is affected. If alpha gene allele is mutated, then it causes alpha thalassemia, and then if it is a beta gene is mutated, that will cause beta thalassemia. Okay. The gene for alpha thalassemia is located in chromosome number 16. What are the genes? HPA1 and HPA2. So these 2 genes which are found in chromosome number 16. Whereas this beta thalassemia is controlled by one gene, that is HPB, that is located on chromosome number 11. Okay. So these genes which cause thalassemia. Okay. In beta thalassemia, the beta thalassemia is otherwise called Cooley's disease. Otherwise, the beta thalassemia is otherwise called Cooley's anemia. In this, alpha chain production is increased. In beta thalassemia, beta chain is decreased. But what is increased? Alpha chain production is increased. So as a result, it will damage the membrane of RBC. Okay. So as the alpha chain production is increased, this will damages the membrane of the RBC. As a result, RBCs are destroyed. So that results in anemia. That condition only beta thalassemia. Beta thalassemia is otherwise Cooley's anemia. Okay, it's over. Thalassemia is over. And the next chromosomal abnormality, the next disorder is phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria, it is also a inborn error of phenylalanin metabolism. This is caused by an autosomal recessive gene. This autosomal recessive gene is mutated. Due to mutation, the gene, that is PAH gene, that is phenylalanine hydroxylase. The name of the gene is phenylalanine hydroxylase. That gene is located in the chromosome number 12. That is actually mutated. So once the gene is mutated, it is unable to produce the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. So this enzyme is not there. Okay, the gene which is producing this enzyme is mutated. So it cannot produce phenylalanine hydroxylase. If this enzyme is absent, then phenylalanine cannot be converted into tyrosine. So as a result, phenylalanine will be accumulated in the blood. Okay. So this is the disease. So phenylalanine accumulates and gets converted into phenylpyruvic acids. So this is the disease. So one recessive gene is mutated. As a result, this gene cannot be produced. What is the gene? Phenylalanine hydroxylase gene, which is located in the chromosome number 12. So it cannot produce the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. So in the absence of these enzymes, phenylalanine cannot be converted into tyrosine. As a result, phenylalanine is converted into phenylpyruvic acid. So phenylalanine will be accumulates in the blood. That is the condition. And the next disorder is albinism. This is also an inborn error of metabolism that is caused by the autosomal recessive gene. Okay. So as a result, melanin is absent. So persons with recessive allele, okay, this recessive allele, they do not produce the enzyme. What enzyme? Tyrosinase enzyme. Here also one enzyme. Tyrosinase enzyme is absent. Okay, the gene which is producing this enzyme is recessive, so that it cannot produce tyrosinase enzyme. As a result, TOPA. TOPA means that is dihydroxyphenylalanine. Dihydroxyphenylalanine, that is in short TOPA. So that cannot be converted into melanin. It cannot be produced melanin in the absence of tyrosinase enzyme. So there is no melanin. So the persons will be, their hair, their skin and their iris will be white due to the absence of melanin pigment. Due to the absence of the pigment melanin. So this is also caused by a autosomal recessive gene. And one more disease, that is Huntington's chorea, that is caused by autosomal dominant gene. Okay, so this albinism and phenylketonuria are caused by recessive gene, whereas this Huntington chorea is caused by the dominant gene, which is a lethal gene. Okay, lethal means it will cause death. The symptoms for the disease is actually the involuntary jerking of the body and the progressive degeneration of the nervous system. The nervous system will be degenerated, mental and physical deterioration. The persons will not be normal. They could not think properly. They will be somewhat different. Okay, the mental imbalance will be there. So the persons may die at the age of 35 to 40. Okay, so these are some of the abnormalities, Mendelian abnormalities, Mendelian disorders. And in the next class, we will study the remaining chromosomal abnormalities in the next class. Thank you.